Hey guys, Kev here, and we are going to disassemble the Jack Wolf knives After Hours Jack. And this is the new version dropping Friday the 17th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll put links below to all the dealers. You can use those links. It does help the channel. I will say Urban Cutlery did let me know that they're giving away a set of Skiff bearings with each knife. So if you pick one of these up at Urban Cutlery, you will get a set of Skiff bearings, which is what we're about to put in them. So that's pretty cool. So the reason I wanted to do this, because I believe I do have a video installing Skiffs last time, is Jack Wolf Knives let us know that the manufacturer is now using a solid caged bearing, much like a Skiff bearing. I did check on it in the unboxing, and I saw that it looks like a brass cage, which is what they use for the standard bearings, but it's a solid brass cage, and it has 7 balls. I was able to get a look at a set that Ben from Jack Wolf showed me. So originally, I think he thought there was more in there. There's 10 balls in each bearing on a Skiff set. So total, you would have 20 balls in the knife, where with the stock ones, you have 7 and 7, you have 14. So you're adding 6 extra balls with Skiffs. So I do think that adding Skiffs may make a difference for those of us who nerd out on that. Basically, what I'm getting at is, if you normally don't mess with Skiffs, you should be happy you basically got an upgrade in the knife, which is awesome, right? It's upgraded from the last run because they went from stamped cages to solid. If you're a Skiff nut like me, you may still want to swap them out because you'll be able to add those extra contact points with the extra ceramic balls. So let's get into it. We're going to rock a T8, and I think we need a T10. I will just go ahead and grab it instead of using the extra driver inside of here. This should be a 10. Yep. All right. So the pivot should be a 10. Let's see which side wants to loosen out for us. That side feels pretty tight. So does this one. So, oops, slipped out of there. I thought they deepened the tooling on these. Huh. Oh, wait, we got movement. That might just be the, okay, we're going to need to move to the finger bit. So we're going to grab our Skiff Workshop finger bit. Good time to plug that. This is an amazing tool, and you're about to see why. So these are T15s, nope, T10. So you drop in your driver or bit, put it in there, and then you can lock the knife down with your thumb. So now this is locked down on one side, and I can attack it from this side. And just try to hold it straight. You don't want it to cam out. That is what I was talking about earlier. There we go. And we'll see which side. Looks like this side came free, or maybe both. Interesting. No, okay. What? Oh, this is the bearings. Or is the pivot is on there. Sorry, it's so skinny. All right, let me just open the blade and pop that through. And there we go. Now the screw came out. Boom. Bob's your uncle. So we are going to enter from this side. That's what she said. All right. T8. And carefully keeping your bit in the tooling so we do not slip out. Yeah, these feel better. I don't know, maybe that bit was just shit on the T10. Yeah, I could see a little bit of a wear right there on it. So maybe it was just the bit. Okay, now comes the hard part. Sometimes these scales do not want to come off. Hoping because it goes to the end on this one, it'll just fall right off. Yeah, nice. Here is your mother of pearl that is backed. I forgot about that. It has a purple backer. So you get that purple on the liner look, which is kind of cool. But there's your material. And as I said in my unboxing, you can see they're numbered, 572. Every piece of the knife is numbered and assembled. So now we need our third driver. Luckily, I am ridiculous, and I have many, many, many drivers. So we're going to take our T6 and pull this guy out. Whoops, slipped out of there a little bit. That's okay, because, well, it's a frame screw. Not too worried about messing up the frame, you know. Doesn't affect me. All right, we are apart, and let's take a look at these suckers. Pull everything out here and take a look. All right, so here they are. They are tiny, guys. 1/8 pivot, 3/64 ball, but they are solid cages, and they are brass, as I suspected, which is perfectly fine. Phosphor bronze, brass, they both work well. You're going to want to oil both, so it doesn't really matter. That's what they look like, and you can see there's 7 balls in there. So I'm going to get a couple things to show you guys so you can see the differences. Obviously, we're going to get skiffs, and then we're also going to get a set of the stamped ones out, because I think I had a set in here. Didn't I show you guys in the unboxing? Hopefully I still have those in here. Yep. Find the other one if I have it. There it is. And these could be from a different knife, could be from my Kingpin front flipper, but they're the same. So those are the bearings that used to be in the Jack Wolf locking knives. And you can see they have 7 balls as well. So you have 7 balls in each. So you're not gaining any benefit in extra ceramic balls. But you are gaining the benefit of the solid cage, which is going to help with side-to-side play. As much as people want to say that when you're dealing with bearings, only the balls contact anything, so the cage doesn't matter. I can't exactly explain why it does, but it does. It matters. So let me just grab here they are. These are the skiffs. You'll see the difference immediately. Let me get those all in order there. And I will flip one of these over because then you can see the 2 sides. The other ones are identical on both sides. But just to be transparent, I'll flip one of those over too. Even though it doesn't make a difference, I'll flip over one of these too. There you go. All right. And then I'll talk about them in a second, obviously. Just got to put away some stuff. All right. This is what you want. 1/8, 3/64, and you can see 10 balls. That is what Skiff does better than anybody. They add extra balls. They're the balls, guys. We got to make a t-shirt. Something about balls. So you can see the difference, right, guys? There's a shit ton more balls. 3 extra in each bearing. 6 extra total between the sets. That's huge. So you get the benefit of the solid cage, which this does not have. You can see it stamped. And that is the detriment of these. That is the problem with these. They work just fine. But sometimes, you know, your action will feel a little wonky. You'll kind of hear or feel the bearings rolling. And I feel like it has a lot to do with the stamped cage because of the stability when it gets squeezed. And I think it's the pressure. So, like, you're pushing from both sides. Yes, so pardon my fingers, but you're pushing from both sides. And yes, the balls are what's getting pressed. But every knife has to have a certain amount of tolerance in it, right? Like, the clearances, the tolerances are slightly different in everything. They're not all identical, right? That's why in a machine shop, people will use calipers to spec check a part. And if it's within the tolerance range, right, then they'll keep it. And if it's not, it goes into the bad pile. And that range could be 100th of an inch or whatever, thousandths of an inch. So when you pile that up on a knife, because knives are extremely hard to make, anybody who makes knives I give huge credit to. It's insanity. I think that at some point the cage is getting pressed one way or the other or whatever. And because this one is stamped, it can flex a little. It can just be uneven. Where these solid ones are going to be, well, solid, stiff, stable, right? They're going to add stability in there. And that's why I've always noticed with Skiffs, when I install them, I can tighten the knife less and still get no blade play than I can with the stock stamp bearings, where you have to crank it a little bit more to get it tight, and then all of a sudden your action's gone, right? I want no blade play and good action, and that's why I love Skiff bearings. Now, you do get that stability benefit here, but you won't get the extra balls, which will probably give you a little bit more smoothness. It'll maybe glide a little bit better. So is it necessary? Not really, but for those of us who want that 5% extra, that's why we do it. Hopefully that explanation made some sense to you guys, but there you go. So I do like the stock bearings. I think it's definitely an upgrade. So I want to give them credit for that. And I talked to Ben about it. He said he was going to ask them if they could add more ceramic balls, because we had this whole conversation last night. So I want to give him props for that too. Actually, I'll put this with the knife or the box, and we can get into it now. Sorry for all that rambling, but you know how it is. Here's the knife, by the way. Beautiful knife, beautiful construction. They do a great job. Nothing to talk about there. I'm gonna grab some alcohol, and not to drink, to clean. And I'm gonna clean the lock face here. I was getting a little bit of not stick, but grab, because there's apparently there's some oil in here somewhere that was hard to clean off, because it kept coming back even when I'd clean it with alcohol over and over. So that is now cleaned up, hopefully. I mean, look how small everything in here is. It's crazy. Pass-through D10 hole on this. The stop pin is in the frame and then internal in the blade, where a lot of times we do internal ones, but it's mounted on the blade. And I don't know which one's better or what I like better. I haven't done enough research on that. Beautiful setup, beautiful knife. I like that it came apart from the correct side, because I didn't have to try to mess with any of this. Sometimes this side will, or the other side will come out, and then you have to finagle a little bit. And you might have the pivot on this side, but then you come out this side. That's just how it goes sometimes with a internally mounted clip. But they have a spinning barrel, so it should just come apart from one side. Cleaning everything here. Oh, I ran out of Q-tips. Oh, no. Let's grab a new color. Yellow. You can get these online on Amazon. I should update my my Disassembly Tools list. It's always in the description, by the way. And I do link some of these, just not this specific one. I think I got like 1,200, and there's like 5 or 6 different colors. 6 probably. 200 of each or something. And I don't know why I thought that was cool. I just thought it was cool, so I got it. And they're cheap as shit. A lot cheaper than if you get them from KPL. They're literally just, I think, repackaged. Or they might even just buy these and slap a sticker on it. I don't know. Just get them in black. I don't know. But they're fantastic for disassemblies. Why, you ask? Well, because I can take this little Q-tip and fit it right into that detent hole. Clean everything up. Pull it out. That's what she said. Very nice. And they're so cheap, I can use 20 of them on one knife and not give a shit at all. So I do forget what the hell I was doing when I reached for one. Oh, the pivot. So I'm going to get a little alcohol on here. So I'll just put it up to the nozzle. Squeeze a little. You can get this at Walgreens. And then I just buy the big jugs of it that are like 99 or 97, 99% or 91% isopropyl. And then I just fill that thing up. So I can stick this in here. Now you need to be careful because you want to make sure it comes back out. So yeah, you don't want to get this stuck in there. You can see how filthy it is. And what I'll do, it's so small though, the hole. That's why I don't want to, this is probably not going to work too well. But maybe if I use this thing and the cloth, I can maybe, yeah, maybe jam something in there. Something went in. Probably broke through the, yeah. Not much you can do. I don't want to, it's a pain in the ass if you lose one of those in there. And in this pivot, it would probably get stuck and never come back out because it's so tight. On a bigger pivot, I could just blow it out. You know what I mean? That's what she said. So what I'm going to do, just because I want to be sure I get everything out of there, is squeeze a little alcohol in. Like that. I can see it's right up to the end there. Let that sit for a second. Get my air duster. Close my eyes. See if you guys get hit. And spray it out. Now I'll put it right up to it. There we go. Hopefully that cleaned out anything else that could be in there. It's probably overkill anyway, so I think we're good. I mean, I could do this if I pull that off. Then I could just go in there with this guy. Even that gets too tight, man. That's crazy. It's such a small pivot. All right, that's good enough for me. And then the pivot screw, obviously, you got to do the same thing. What was it, T10 on that? Maybe. It looks fine. All right. Everything should be clean at this point. Except for maybe the stop pin and the washers. But the washers I need to get out of there. So where's my magnet? Take the washer out. Clean it on the cloth. Be careful because they're tiny. Easy to lose. And then I'm going to check it. I'm going to see which side was used. I can see a streak there. And I can see a streak there. So sometimes I don't know if they use the washer in testing or something. Or the washer moves around. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But I'm going to put it in the way it was because it looks better. I don't know. I don't have a good reason. Also, sometimes you'll notice that a washer will have like a flat side and a domed side. It's hard to explain. Let me zoom in. I'll show you. So this side looks a little domed to me, like rounded. And then this side looks flat. You see what I mean? I don't know if that's an illusion from one side just being like polished, or if it actually is like a little bit curved at the top. But my nerdy ass notices. Okay, put the pivot in. Guess I should check function on some of these screws. Tight. Can't reach that other one. Since I'm here, check your clip screw. I have had one loose before. Yeah, see, I can move it ever so slightly, but it's not loose. No, maybe it was. Yeah, I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to break it either. I think it just has a little bit of movement in it. I don't know if they use, let's take a look. I don't know if they use a, oh, it's pretty tight, so I don't even want to mess with it. I don't know if they use a stabilizing pin or if they just, the cutout they think is deep enough in there. It's pretty, it looks relatively shallow. I don't know, maybe adding a pin would be good, or deepening that cutout so you don't get any movement. But I think I remember that bugging me on the first after hours. The other ones, I don't think I've ever felt them move. Just maybe because this one mounts into the inlay. So if you had a titanium version, it probably wouldn't at all. But because it mounts mostly into the inlay, it's not as tight or tough as titanium would be. Stiff, I guess is the word, so she said. All right, I'm going to shut up and continue. So we're going to add our lubrication. So on the detent track, I just add a little bit of KPL heavy, like that. It's good. And maybe a dot up, a dot. Did you hear that? A dot on the detent ball. That's probably good. Nothing got on the lock bar somehow. Just to be safe, I'm going to take alcohol on here and clean that and the edge. That could not be more hilarious. Just a dot. I heard it fart too. Anybody else dealing with being sick? We get a new message from our kids' school every day. Yesterday we got 2. The flu and then hand, foot, mouth. It's like every other day there's a new something going around. And it seems to always be in one of the classrooms that your kid is in. Wonderful. But we were we were at the ER last week with our son. He's 3 months old. He had 102.5 fever. And we took him to the ER because the doctor's office, we called the pediatrician. They were like, if he's under 3 months, got to take him to the ER. And of course, we weren't going to risk it. He turned 3 months the next day. So we went. They gave him Tylenol. And, checked him and, whatever. Made us feel better, I guess. He slept it off, drank it off, And they did test him for flu, RSV, and COVID, and he was negative. So that's good. So we know that's not it. Probably just have a viral cold or something. Sounds made up, but whatever. Can see some crud in this pivot hole. I think it's just Loctite. I'd like to get it with something other than a metal object. I guess it doesn't matter. Well, it does if it gets in the hole where the washer goes. So let me get it out of there. God damn it. All right, let me just take T6. Man, that stuff is hard. The hell are they using? Just blue Loctite, but it's like crusty as hell. So I want to make sure that shit isn't in there when I put in the washer. All right. Put the washer in again. So I'm going to lay it on, actually. And these bearings and everything are so small, it's like crazy. You got to really... There we go. Just popping it on, obviously. And then we can use our pivot screw that we cleaned. We're not Loctiting yet because I like to test function, figure all that out. Then I will start working on Loctiting. I think it's just spinning. That's why it's not doing anything. So I'm going to let go. It's pretty tight though. Tight enough. So then I'm going to take these little guys. Look at the scale that I fucked up trying to prove a point. It's all scratched up and shit. I don't care what my shit looks like, he says. And then he goes, fuck. Scratched it. Man, these aren't tooled very deep either, are they? Keep slipping out of shit. I mean, it's like one feels good and then another, I think maybe they're just soft. Oh, I don't think it's tight. Yeah, it's not tight. It's soft. It was smooth as shit, though. I'm hoping we won't have to come back. So, drop these in. Now I need a T8, and that is... Using 3 different drivers is kind of a pain. You'd think they could eliminate one and just use a T8 up here. Okay. All right, now I need my finger bit. This was the side that stayed tight, so I'm going to turn it. Try to get back in there again. Okay, I'm in. Okay, tighten it down, check centering. Looks perfect. Check function. That felt good. Check action. Ooh, hello, sir. Oh. Now, it was already really good, so, oh yeah, it's tight, nothing. And it's dropping like there's nothing there. It's crazy. Check for lash. Please don't have any. Nope, nothing there. Great. Reverse flick. Somebody calling me. So it almost feels too loose. Hard to explain. But hang on a sec. All right, sorry. It was the garage calling about my truck. If you watched my previous video about the jump starter, you'll know that story. But anyway, yeah, there's a little bit of movement here, like in and out. Pivot lash, I would call it. But that's it. And that was there. I noticed it after I made my video. And sometimes you can hear it when you hear that. And that's just basically saying that the hole in the blade is slightly off compared to the pivot. And it's very common on a lot of knives. But sometimes it can mess with your closing action, I feel like, or sound. It can make it give a little bit of a rattle when it closes versus a click. So anyway, I'm going to see if I can tighten it a touch, and then I'm going to glue it if I can. Maybe Loctite it if it's very touchy. But the action's great, so I could go tighter. So let's see, centering, yeah, it's shifted slightly over here, but still pretty good. It's probably going to be too tight now. Yeah, that's a little too tight. That's what I thought. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a touchy biatch. So we're going to go ahead and Loctite this one. So what I'm going to do is remove the pivot screw, like so. And I'll clean it again. And that's why I was as thorough as I was with the pivot. Because if I have to Loctite it, you really don't want any oil or shit in your pivot. Because even with oil tolerant Loctite like I'm going to use, it still sometimes won't cure if you have shit in there. So clean the threads on the screw and the pivot as much as you can. I'm not telling you to, like, this one's clean, spick and span. Sometimes you'll have little bits of Loctite left on there from previous. I'm not telling you to take a knife and like chip every piece off and make it a brand new screw, but get off everything you can. Get all the black shit off, which is oil and stuff, and try to do the same thing inside the pivot. And if you can get that dry, use alcohol. If you can get that really dry, then the Loctite will do a much better job. So I'm going to use this to get my Loctite started. Oh, looks good. All right. So here's what you got to do. If I recall, this screw is not going to stay on here well because of the tooling. It's not bad. See if we can get it to not fall off. Usually they fall off on me. See if I can hold it or something. Yeah. God damn it. And that's why I don't do that. If you have a screw with really good tooling, deep tooling, you can just hold it on the driver, but this one does not want to cooperate. So I'm going to have to clean it again, start over. Okay. All right, starting over. I'm going to hold it this time. A little more came out than I wanted to use, so just get rid of that. And then I usually use the tip. I'll try to show you. I usually use the tip of the Loctite thing and just brush it around a little bit. Because you want it in the threads. You don't want a bubble of it sitting on top of the threads. You want it actually in those threads like that. And you don't need a ton. Now I will take the screw and insert it into the knife. Like that. Drop it like it's hot, and then I will grab my driver, carefully try to get in the tooling and start tightening. And I'm just using thumb pressure or finger pressure over here. And usually that's enough after I've taken it apart, cleaned it and all that. I don't need the finger bit unless I need to get really tight. But I'm going to go as tight as I can without it. There we go. Centering's close. So we might be at that super tight again. Yeah, we're back there. So we're gonna back off a touch. Very little to start. We're getting there. Yeah, it's freaking solid. Ooh. So you see it's not quite shaken down or dropping right away, but it's, I mean, look at it. It's freaking smooth after, but it's got that little bit of rattly sound. This is probably good because I'm guessing once I do this a bunch of times, yep, it'll start just dropping. And there we go. And this, yeah, there's no play at all. No rock, nothing. Feels solid as a rock. Smooth as shit. Only gonna get better. Centering looks just about perfect. It's a touch over to this side, but I mean, it's seriously a minor amount over. So we've got it dialed in basically perfectly, which is awesome. So there's that. I'll grab my other one and I'll show you comparison. Because I put Skiffs in here, and this one is like perfect. Centering on this one's dead nuts with the Skiffs. Drops. Great click. Now let me, yeah, no play, no rock. Swings down, and listen to this. Hear that? Oh, that's a beautiful sound. So I bet you, yeah, it's a tank. There's nothing, no play there. This one has that little bit of movement. I mean, it's almost gone. So it might have just been the pivot being looser. It didn't have blade play, but it somehow was allowing it to move in and out. I can feel it a little bit. But listen when it closes. You hear it? Versus very close. Yeah, I mean, it's damn near perfect. So let me listen. Now listen. Is the clip tapping? No. I think the clip is reverberating something because it sounds perfect there. If I don't hold the clip or the lock bar. Now it's a little bit more, I don't know. Actually, it sounds perfect. See, this is the problem with me having two of the same knife. I compare everything, and if one is like fantastic, then the other one is in trouble because I'm gonna be nitpicking it, and that's what I'm doing. It's great. It's great. Yeah. I mean, I've taken a bunch of these apart, and it's usually really good. The only one I didn't love after I took it apart, skiffed it and everything, was the Benny. That one, for some reason, never felt right to me. I still have it. It just has a little bit of it has that rattly sound. This one doesn't now. So I think I just had the pivot loose than it needed to be. So it's perfect. Man, these are so thin and slicey. S90V is amazing on these. Yeah, I mean, these are basically identical at this point. This one maybe drops a little bit more, but it's been broken in for a while. So we'll see once I get it Loctited and play with it a little bit. It'll be just as good, I bet. So last thing I'm going to do is take one of these. Oh, looks like I have one. Alcohol it. Do a final cleaning on here for oil. Flip it open. Let it sit. I'll clean this one while I'm at it. And that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. They're fantastic knives. They drop on Friday, the 17th. You do not need to put the skiffs in them. They're great as is. I'm one of the 2% that just love to tinker with my knives. And I want to put skiffs in everything. And I analyze it to the, I mean, you just saw what happened in the last 10 minutes. I analyze it to the oomph degree. And if a knife can get through that, and I come out the other side saying it's great, I don't know what more they could do, because I'm literally stripping it to the nuts and bolts when I'm thinking about every little sound and aspect. And you know how hard it is to make a knife? And to make it sound perfect, feel perfect, work perfect. I mean, dude, it's got to be so hard. Really. It's crazy. But these are super close. Looks like that centering is almost back too. I've noticed that with my Jack Wolves. Sometimes I'll get it all done and it'll be slightly off. And then I'll carry it for a few days and it'll come over perfectly. But the pivot didn't loosen. Still tight. It's just, I don't know what it is. Something settles. It's probably maybe the bearing wears the track in. That's probably what it is. The detent ball and the bearing wear a track in, and it just brings that centering over just a touch. And then it's perfect. Because that one, I mean, dude, it is perfect, but if you want to be like me and OCD it, it's a touch off. And then this one is just money. So these are by far my favorite locking Jack Wolves, the after hours. I love the sheep's foot. I love the midnight model. So I highly recommend. And they have some really cool versions. And River's Edge Cutlery has an exclusive. So yeah. Check out my links down below for these. Again, you can get a free set of skiffs if you buy from Urban Cutlery. You can also pick them up at TPK. You guys know I love the folks over at Traditional Pocket Knives. And I have links for all that down below. But I love you. Hope you have a fantastic day. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.